Educational Insights, a Superintendent's Podcast. Hosted by Brooke Olsen-Farrell. Episode number 12, Discussion with Orwell Village School Principal.
Hi there, Slate Valley. I'm here today with Patrick Walters, the principal at Orwell Village School, and I'm Brooke Olsen-Farrell, superintendent of Slate Valley. And we're going to talk a little bit about the wonderful things that are happening here at Orwell Village School. Thank you, Patrick, for joining me today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
Can you give us an introduction to you and your role here as school principal?
Sure. I've been principal here this is my 12th year. Previous to that, I was at Floodbrook Union School for 8 years. And before that, I started my administrative career in Holland. And I did 3 years there. So if my math is correct, I don't know, I'm up to about, what is that, Brooke? Is that 23 years or so?
Yeah,
something
about
like
right.
that. 23 years as a building administrator.
Great. So what are the key values and principles that guide your leadership?
Oh my goodness, I think if you ask me for one big thing, the most important thing that drives our whole school community is trust. Without that trust, you can't be an effective building leader, you can't have an effective school, and you can't have effective instruction for kids. It's all based on trust.
So what are the current initiatives and happenings around Orwell Village School?
Oh, there's a lot going on here.
Oh, I'm sure.
At OVS. The biggest thing for us, I think, and what we rely on consistently, is our restorative justice practices. And it's not just the restorative justice practices that we implement when we have conflict. It's just the way we do things around here. It's embedded in our staff, in our administration, in our students, and we use it consistently. And we've been doing this for, I would say, about 10 years now. And it certainly does work.
So Patrick, on the topic of restorative justice, for our listeners out there, can you talk a little bit about exactly what that is?
Yeah, restorative justice is a different kind of philosophy. It's a philosophy that pulls kids in rather than pushes them away. It's a philosophy that does not lean on punishment, and is a philosophy that kind of addresses the harm and makes reparations for any of that harm that is caused in the school community. And we use that with our conflict resolution. We use that in classrooms. We're to the point now where kids will come in from recess and say to the teacher, we need to circle up. We had a little activity out there at recess. And that's kind of the gist of it.
Great.
And I can remember back when we first started this restorative justice, talking to a parent. And she mentioned to me on the phone, I went through Orwell Village School 8 years, and there were kids in my class that I didn't even really know. Like, we didn't talk to them, they didn't talk to us. And I was thinking, boy, that's pretty rotten to go through 8 years in a small school and you don't know people. And so that was part of the impetus for starting our restorative justice. We have kids in our classes that we want to care about each other. We want Sally's classmates to know that her grandmother's ill and she's having a bad day today. Or we want to know that Johnny lost his dog over the weekend, and we want to care about him, and we want to support him, and we want to be there for him. And we've created these really nurturing classroom communities where kids do really care about each other. I was in 3rd grade just a couple weeks ago, and I was over at a little reading group, and they all had roles. And they're all sitting on the rug, and of course, I have to sit in a chair because it takes me 20 minutes to get up off the floor at this age. But anyway, I'm sitting in a chair, and they all have these roles, and they're going around, and one of the students starts motioning to me, to check out this guy that sitting next to me, and I didn't really notice because I was sitting up high. And I lean over, and he's in tears. And it turns out he didn't really like his role. And what was really interesting is the group, there must have been 5 kids sitting around that circle, they all just enveloped him. Here, you can trade with me, and another gal got up and got a highlighter and helped him mark up those parts that he had to read, and they just were so caring and nurturing to this child. It really warmed my heart.
That's
Kind of makes me think, this is what we've been doing all this work for all this time, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah. The world certainly needs a little bit more kindness.
No doubt.
So that's really wonderful to hear. So what are some recent academic achievements or stories that you can tell us about Orwell?
It's no secret that I'm sort of at the tail end of my career. I don't know exactly when that's going to be, a couple of years, maybe 2, 3 down the road. I'm not really sure. But one thing that I have always wanted is to have an early literacy program that is really super solid. And this year, we've done an enormous amount of work with data to try to improve our early literacy. And one thing I can tell you is that with the recent Star 360 numbers that just came out, our K-3 early literacy program has gone from 58% of the students meeting the grade level expectation to 70. And while there's still a lot of work to be done there, it gives me hope that over the next couple of years, if we keep progressing, that we're going to have a really solid early literacy program at Orwell Village School.
That's definitely a celebration. So what's Star 360 for the listeners out there who may not be sure?
Oh my goodness, boss. Star 360 is our local assessments that we give. And basically what we do is we give these assessments to help drive instruction. We give them in literacy and we give them in math. And teachers can identify strengths and weaknesses for children in the different skill areas in those different curricular areas.
So, community engagement has been a huge topic and a huge initiative district-wide in Slate Valley. So how's Orwell Village School addressing that community engagement piece?
We've always had really strong engagement here at Orwell Village School. Oh my goodness, I can remember back when we were having those consolidation forums, and other schools would have 5 people and 6 people, and then we'd come up to Orwell and there'd be 75 people, and there would be a split down the aisle, and these people over here were all for consolidation, and these people over here were against consolidation. So we've always had really strong support here. One of the major themes that came out of those consolidation meetings, though, on either side of the aisle, was that the people in Orwell really value their school, and they didn't want anybody kind of messing with it. And that's an idea that was loud and clear through those times. We do a number of things. Last year we started our First Fridays, where the first Friday of every month parents can come right into the building with their kids during arrival and spend a good half hour, 45 minutes in classrooms, just kind of getting the lay of the land and seeing what life is like here at school. We run a number of other activities, really folk dance, and that's a very popular event. We usually get lots of different instrumentalists come and perform on the stage, and Fran does her calling, her folk dance calling, and it's a blast.
So what are some of the challenges that the school is currently facing? Do we have any?
Oh yes, we always have challenges, Brooke. We have the same challenges here in Orwell that most schools have. We have challenges with staffing. We have challenges with behavior, and we've been able to balance a lot of those 2 challenges out. We've been very fortunate in hiring some really strong new educators over the last couple of years, and our community is really happy with those additions to the school. We're doing really well with behavior, but the biggest challenge that we have are those kids that just pop out consistently on the high end, and having those strategies to address those behaviors. And I think I see that not only in our school, but I see that in lots of schools in Vermont and around the country.
Certainly is a challenge across the board. So what are some future plans for Orwell or goals as we look to the end of this academic year and beyond?
We want to work on our playground, Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a couple of, let's just say, pieces of equipment that have kind of reached the end of their useful life, and we need to replace a couple pieces, and we need to add some pieces, and we're really looking towards a natural type of a playground, a natural kind of space that kind of incorporates nature and learning and building and climbing. And it's not just plopping a couple of playground structures out there. So with the help of my 4th grade teacher, Jenna Leslocki, we are trying to make that a reality.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure being with you here today. And until next time, Slate Valley.
Slate Valley Unified Union School District, May 2024.